So I got the conduit through there anyways. Just gonna, got this little piece of wood here. I'm gonna, guess put that up here somewhere. Up here. And then that'll be, then this will get clamped to that. I got the clamps for the everything. See how it goes. I don't want it to be like right tight to the ceiling, so I would have liked it to be, but I didn't get the actual 90. I got this stupid box instead. When I should have just got the 90. But whatever. Come to the back of this inverter here. Back there somewhere. Get the flash going. I'm gonna go right there on the output L and N. I'm thinking the ground is just gonna go outside. I'm not gonna ground it all. I do know these inverters are not UL rated and they put out half power still because they're old. So I prefer to not have it grounded to the rest of everything else. I don't want this inverter to ground, or even the grounds to be connected to the grid. So when I do my transfer, the grounds follow the transfer, not the house. Like, my house is grounded to the copper piping in the house, so I'm not going to connect this to the copper piping. It has its own ground outside on the on a rod or whatever. So, anyways, working on this right now. Thanks. So, got her in here. It's not pretty, but whatever. Gets me down to where I need to be. And it's just, this room will get kind of sealed with some doors on the front. And then this will all become a hallway, and this will be a laundry room one day. We'll see what happens. Who knows? And then I'm gonna move that box that's over there over to here. And then I'll try and do something here and go down to continue on to that run there. That's about it. That's all I gotta do for that. And then hook up power supply to the BMS. And we'll see about hooking up the 240 inverter after that. Not sure. I got this transformer here, which is a 7 or 8 kVA, 240 to 120 240, which is, that's a single phase 240, but only 5,000 watts, 5 kVA, somewhere around there. So that should be plenty for this. And I'd like to see what we could actually run with 5,000 watts of 240. I know my water tank only takes about 3,000 watts, but it can handle single phase, so I can just hook that directly up, which I was planning on doing, just so I don't have to run the hot water. It'll pretty much be all summer off the grid. I imagine that's my next biggest expense, is the hot water tank there. If I could run that, it'd be great. Yeah, really the house runs nothing. It's that hot water tank kicking on whenever it kicks on is the problem. And, you know, it's our choice to use the stove. And it's our choice to use the dryer. And it's summertime, we've got a clothesline. And the washing machine's 120, which this handles. This handles all the 120 loads. And I only have, you know, three 240 loads in the house. So between the three, this can do pretty much everything with that, or without that, just the water tank. So see how it goes. Anyways, try and get this wire put in, get this conduit moved, or this wire moved, and yeah, that's it. and then BMS's. And we're running solar panels. But all I had to do is clip together, check the voltages. Anyways, thanks. So we're getting some lights here. One here, one over here. Hopefully that's all correct. I'm gonna start hooking these guys up. The first pin is into the 4-pin to my main negative. I'm gonna do the battery and then keep going down the line. And I got the computer ready to go. Might hook that up as well. I'd imagine both can be hooked up together. We'll find out though. Thanks. So, all of them passed okay on the bypass test. All 36. So I guess that's good. I don't know. I haven't hooked up the shunt yet either, so. Kind of disappointing that I got one cell that's low. But it is what it is. These guys have been sitting a long time, especially this first one here. This is the longest one it's been sitting. To see how she goes. It's only down like a point. Yeah, like 3.13 is that low cell, and 3.28 is the highest. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna have to be gentle with it. Let's say I didn't do a device sync now. Whatever that means. Anyways, I'm gonna hook up the shunt. And we'll go from there. Maybe a panel. Might hook up a solar panel too. Thanks. So I left it on overnight. Now the problem with these batteries is once you get below 3 volts per cell, it really starts dropping. So if you got one cell group that's at 3 volts, the other one's at 3.2, the one at 3.2 is like half full, and the one at 3 is like empty. So overnight, I left it all on, and we dropped down to from 3.13 to 3.08. And this is my low group here. Between here and here, positive is always that way. So no matter where you go down this, the positive will always be on this side of the post. So if you move from here to here, your negative will be there and the positive will be there. So what I'm doing, we are starting to pick up some power in the panels. We're up at about 435 watts coming in. And we do have the one little group that's low. So I got this guy hooked up on 6 volt. It barely does anything. It's 500 amp hour bank. And so this is what I'm doing, is just boosting that one cell group. So I was putting in 6-8 amps there. And it will, I gotta get this up 2 points. So I might have to put 100 amp hours into this to get it up, but it doesn't like running this high, so it'll click off if I don't pulse it. So I just do it kind of slow, 10 seconds at a time. What the fuck is going on out here? Chad wants to drive me nuts. See, mine is 80 watts for the inverter. Whatever else is running. So, doing 441. And I'm just gonna keep boosting this up until it's where I like it to be. I know this works because I did it on 2 packs. So, I just picked an easy spot. I could separate it and put one up here and one over here. It'll all even out. But I do gotta keep on it. I gotta try and get it going up there. Now this is putting, say there's 2 amps going over the whole bank. It's giving this row an extra 7 amps. It's going to take a long time at 500 amp hours, but I do want it to go up. And it will do. It's like an active balancer. I'm just manually balancing, putting extra power to the low cell. It will go up. You just gotta take time and do it. Hopefully it goes up faster than everything else. I'd like to not have the Batrium Longmons balancing like crazy. Even though they will balance, it's just I prefer to do it this way instead of waiting for everything to kick back in, and like it won't start balancing to 3.5 volts. So I'd like to get it closer to there. Anyways, I'm going to be doing this for a while. I'm not actually running anything yet. I'm just kind of slowly draining and boosting, trying to get it all to work the way I want it to work and balanced. And this is how I do it. This guy really doesn't, it's not smart. It doesn't need to feel a battery to put out power, so yeah, just keep going until these guys all climb up nicely. It'll get up to around 1,000 watts today. I think I got about, 5 235 watt panels, about 1,100 watts that it could peak at. But we do have a thunderstorm warning today, so I'd like to beat the thunderstorm. Anyways, thanks guys. Racing these 2 numbers up here. So this one's gone up 40 millivolts in the time that this one's gone up 10 millivolts. So I'm working it. The charger's just ripping. But there's so much power to catch up on. What's good about these wires, I've been thinking too, since I know that this positive wire, so right now power is traveling this way and this way. So I'll take this out for a second. So I could put a clamp meter on each of these wires to see after you turn everything off, and I can see where the energy's flowing into which cell. It should be going, say this cell would, say this pack was bad here, I would notice a change in energy shift. I should, in theory. So the good ones will be feeding the bad cells, or the ones that are burning power when they're not in use. So in theory, I should be able to follow the current to where the cell is, and when it changes direction, my clamp meter will tell you the direction of current, so it won't just measure current, it will measure the direction of the current as well. I do have a couple of dirtier packs in here too. I think this was the first rack I made, so it does have some older cells in it. I don't think it has any good top of the line cells in it, where that one, the first 5 rows are top of the line cells. I don't know. Let's see what I'm going to do. So actually, it is power going through the inverter. I'm running the computer, AC, and the BMS, and whatever else I got down the line. It's burning about 0.03 amps. It'll be all good soon. I just want to get a little bit closer, because what's going to happen in this situation, it's different if you have one high cell, then you just use that one BMS long one to burn down the power, where in this case it's going to burn all of them and then just let this one catch up, which sucks, but who knows. It has been sitting a long time. I started this project over a year ago, so my first pack of batteries could be a year old. And that's not to mention what they've been sitting at the last place they were sitting at, so I kind of like watching this slideshow here. Anyways. Pretty cool. It does sample pretty quick. Alright, I'm gonna keep on this. Plugging her in. This guy needs a fan. On a lead acid battery, it only does about 2 amps. On these batteries, they'll pin wide open, just past 8 amps sometimes. It's only a 6 amp charger. Anyways, looks good. This is gonna take all day. It is slowly creeping up. But we'll see. I'm kind of noticing a little bit of a wave on the front here. These ones are higher than almost all the rest. That one's another low one there. This guy's getting warm right here. These guys are still cold. And this one's still cold. But we are catching up. I would suspect that this first 12, that's this row here, that's the one I used for about 4 months. And the other ones haven't been used yet, so they're all fairly similar cells. It's just they do wake up a little bit, and from here over haven't been woken up yet. So just keep pumping her in. We're doing all right now, 700 watts. So 580 going to the batteries, which is only 5 amps across 256 cells, so it's not very much. That's the only thing I was worried about is you gotta charge these things, so 10,000 watts at 120 volts is 80 amps. Divided by 256 cells is like a quarter of an amp per cell. That's at full power, so. And we'll see. Lithium is pretty good for accepting power and not wasting it, so. Just keep plugging away. It's very nice to see. 1206 watts out of 1175. 10-year-old panels. It's pretty good. Maybe even older. 2005. 15-year-old panels. Who knows? But everything seems to be really pushing. It was a beautiful day outside. And a cloud. Yes, thanks. Oh, just hit 1290. Some weird clouds out there right now. $13. It's going like right through the middle of a cloud out there, so. But it's tracking really nice. It's getting everything. It's down to 200. So, back at it again. Next day, we are closing the gap a bit more. Oh, 3.23, 3.24, 3.25 have been the hardest numbers to get past so far here. I just got it to 3.25 today. It's probably still switching back and forth a bit. But the high cells did drop down to 3.21. It was flickering between 1 and 2. So this is where all the power's at, is like around nominal voltage. So I still have a lot to go. But we're getting some good decent power already this morning. It's only 20 to 9. Let me just let it go. Just kind of keep going with it. So what I'm doing, if you're using it like an analogy kind of thing, you can kind of consider this like filling a bag with water that has a hole in it. So I'm charging up like a group on this row, and it maybe charges it up an extra 0.02 of a volt higher than the rest. But as soon as I take the power off, the water keeps going out through the hole. And if I fill the bag up too much, it either shuts this off. That's pretty much all it does. So it doesn't climb very fast. It takes actually a very long time to do this. But the wiring isn't huge for the balance side. Not really much I can do. But it'll go eventually. And like I only put about 6 kilowatt hours into this yesterday, so up to 7 kilowatt hours already. I think we stopped at about 6.5. Got a lot more volts to go. I have to get a more comfortable seat here. Anyways, thanks guys. So, we're on day 3 of balancing, low charging. Still putting in 800 watts, but the cells have much closer gap now. I'm at 3.31 on the low cell, and 3.33 on the high cell. We're doing pretty good. Let's see what number 33 is. 3.31. So we got 2 cells at 3.31. Number 2 and number 33. 32. 32. 32. 32. 32. 32. 32. 32. 32. 32. 32. 33. So number 13 is high. Oh, we got number 12 is at a 3-1. 11 is at a 3-1. So that's on this pack here. So I think we're pretty well. We're pretty close to where we need to be. I think the BMS can handle the rest of it now. But it's doing pretty good. Quite happy with where we're at. That's an estimate, 58%. I just kind of set it for 45% for what I took out of this one, because I took about 12 kilowatt hours out of 20. So, 11. I set it at 45%, which put that to about 230. So we put the capacity, we are up to 301 amp hours estimated. Now, with how big this system is, it'll be very, very rare that I get it down this low on a regular basis, especially in the summer. Maybe in the winter when I start running a little bit more heat. But you see what we put in so far. 16 kilowatt hours. I think when I turned it on, it was already at 0.3. So got about 30 to go. And we'll probably get another, we're doing about 6 a day, 6.5 a day on 1,000 watts of solar panels. So see how it goes. It won't start balancing till 3.5 volts. So inverter's off. I got the VMS plugged into the wall and the computer. It actually only needs one of the two, so I can actually unplug it from the grid if I need to. But on a regular basis, it'll be plugged into this plug, which is hooked up to the inverter. So yeah, she's almost ready. I'm pretty happy with where we're at. And I may put some more solar panels on it, maybe for tomorrow. So I will definitely keep an eye on everything before I go too crazy with charging. And I'd like to see how she goes up near the top. See how much, see what it burns. Like if it can burn 2 amps, and I'm only putting in 7, it'll really pull down the high ones compared to the low ones. So then again, if I'm putting in 60 amps, the 2 amps is going to do absolutely nothing. But anyways, thanks guys.